All right, and welcome to tonight's forum. I am Tricia Crowley of the League of Women Voters, and on behalf of the League, the NAACP, and the News Gazette, I welcome you to tonight's candidate forum. Tonight's forum is for the consolidated election, April 6th election for City of Champaign Township Supervisor. Because of COVID-19 pandemic, we are unfortunately not presenting this forum in person. We have received many questions for these forums, and similar questions have been consolidated and consequently may not be asked in precisely the way it was submitted. And due to limited time, we may not be able to get to all of the submitted questions. After the forum, this video will be available on the League's YouTube channel and Facebook page in the next several days. For candidate information, you should check out the Nonpartisan Voters Guide at votechampaign.org. This forum will be attached to the candidate information in the Voters Guide. It will also be broadcast by UPTV, and the UPTV schedule is available on the City of Champaign website. I will be the moderator for this forum. The order for the candidates is alphabetical, and therefore Karen Foster will open and Andy Kornstrom will close. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes for an opening statement. I'll then ask questions submitted prior to the forum, and the candidates will have 1 minute for each question. And at the end, each candidate will have 2 minutes for a closing statement. And now it's time for opening statements. So Ms. Foster, you want to proceed? 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. I thank the League of Women Voters, the NAACP, and the News Gazette for sponsoring this candidate forum. I am Karen Foster. I'm a lifelong resident of Champaign. I'm a two-time graduate of Eastern Illinois University with degrees in education and guidance and counseling. In addition to teaching ages infant through Parkland, I was elected to the City Council in 2007 for 2 terms. It was while on council that I became familiar with the Township Supervisor's office. As a board member, we received monthly updates, budget requests, budget approvals, and overall functioning of the office. This year, I felt that it is important that the voters have a choice in who is elected to be Township Supervisor. As a supervisor, I would limit raising taxes to fund the general assistance and temporary assistance. Grants are available to be used, and I would continue to seek grants to continue the programs, especially those that affect residents who have been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Many in our city are struggling to pay bills for mortgage or rent, and I would want to give them monetary assistance as well as provide information concerning vaccinations and how to continue to stay safe. The Township Supervisor's duties are not Republican or Democratic, and I pledge to treat all citizens equally and work to find assistance for them. Being Township Supervisor would be my only employment. After leaving council in 2015, I was appointed by Mayor Finan as a member of the Neighborhood Services Advisory Board. Since 2010, the Bristol Place subdivision was planned, and finally in 2020, it was fully developed as affordable housing for our city. I was part of the team who researched and then reported to council. I have many years' experience collaborating with others in order to make things
Karen,
happen.
your time is up.
Thank you.
Okay, opening statement, Mr. Kornstrom.
Thank you. Thank you to the League of Women Voters, to the News Gazette, NAACP, to you all, and to my opponent, Mrs. Foster. My name is Andy Kornstrom. I'm the City of Champaign Township Supervisor. I'm a dedicated public servant, serving over 24 years with Champaign Fire Department, as well as the last 8 years as your Township Supervisor. I'm married to my wife, Erin, who is a Unit 4 employee, and we have 2 high school age kids. I'm involved in the United Way, CASA, Little League, and numerous other nonprofits that I enjoy spending my extra time on. 8 years ago, I ran as the City of Champaign Township Supervisor. I beat an incumbent, conservative Republican incumbent, who at the time provided approximately $9,000 a month and served about 30 individuals in the township. Flash forward to 2021, February of 2021, where we've served over 150 individuals and provided over $90,000 worth of assistance. In that time frame, we have not raised taxes one time. When I ran for office, I made promises. Those promises that I made, I've kept. We've increased transparency, including having a fraud portal on our website, comprehensive information for budgets, agendas, information relative to township government. We purchased new township offices that are ADA accessible, friendly to our clients as well as our employees. We've increased the monthly grant for general assistance over 20%. We've also formed comprehensive rental assistance as well as COVID rental, utility, and mortgage assistance to help battle the COVID pandemic. We've started the nationally renowned See You at Work program, as well as purchased prosperity gardens to put homeless men and women at work in the gardens, putting fresh fruit and vegetables on the plates of those in need in our community. But my work here is not done. I'm asking for your support and your vote so we can continue the good work that we've been doing. We have plans to help eliminate housing insecurity in Unit 4 schools, and we've got the structure and the platform to accomplish that. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to the questions this evening. Trish, you're muted, I think.
This, even though after a year, I forget when I get muted. So, Ms. Foster, how would you answer this question from a voter? What does your office do?
Thank you. That is an important question because not very many people are aware of the Township Supervisor's office. And our office, or sorry, this office provides assistance for those in need to pay for their mortgage or their rent. And when they fill out their forms, they have to fill out assistance forms, and then the caseworker works to decide whether they qualify for that assistance or not. And up to $600 a month is given over a 3-month period.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Kornstrom, how would you answer this question from a voter? What does your office do?
So the township I equate to being the social service branch of local government, and we're the safety net for those most in need in our community. As I noted in my introduction, we provide numerous types of assistance. Our most regular and statutory requirement is our general assistance program that is provided for those that are unable to work in our community. They receive a flat grant for the time in which they become disabled until they then receive Social Security. And so we're bridging that gap of assistance for them. In addition, since taking office, we, as I mentioned, started very comprehensive rental assistance in the city of Champaign. And Ms. Foster's correct, it is $600 a month. And we provide that through pretty comprehensive case management. Since COVID took hold, we added, again, comprehensive COVID-19 rental, mortgage, and utility assistance for those that are negatively impacted by the COVID pandemic. And that has been done through community development block grants as well as emergency solutions grants. We do a lot, but I just got my stop sign, so I'll go ahead and stop.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kornstrom. And we're alternating who starts first with each question. So Mr. Kornstrom, you're starting with this one. What's the current budget of the township office, and could you describe the programs it funds?
Sure. So currently, I think our most recent levy is approximately $700,000. Our most recent budget is right around that same. This year, in the last more or less 365 days, we've brought in an additional $700,000 in grants and assistance from nonprofits, the state of Illinois, the federal government, the city of Champaign. And so those monies go, of course, to fund our general assistance. Much of the grant money goes towards the COVID-specific rental, utility, and mortgage assistance. The township then funds our regular rental assistance program, so those not affected by COVID, as well as our Prosperity Gardens work and our See You at Work programming.
Okay, and Ms. Foster, do you want to comment on the budget of the Office of Supervisor?
I think that he's covered that well, and I really do, I will say, I appreciate the assistance that the Prosperity Gardens has been able to provide to the community and the other programs that have been started in addition to the General Assistance Program. Even though that is added to the budget, I think that the grants that were found to supplement the budget were appropriate, and I think that was good work. And I would like to, if I were so choosing to be supervisor, to continue with that good work for our community.
All right, thank you, Ms. Foster. Next question, Ms. Foster. Can you talk about what programs you would work with Unit 4 and which programs you would continue if you were elected?
The programs that I would continue if I were elected would be like the Prosperity Gardens. I remember when I was on council, Prosperity Gardens was just beginning and we started, and there was another area, North Market Street, that was to be developed. I'm not sure that it ever got off the ground, but Prosperity Gardens there on First Street is awesome, and I would like to continue with that. I would also, as I stated in my opening statement, I would want to continue to help people through the pandemic know how to keep safe. Possibly if they weren't vaccinated yet, give them information on being vaccinated. So giving out information in addition to financial assistance would be important to me, because social work and guiding people is what I do.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Foster. Ms. Kornstrom. Mr. Kornstrom, could you list the program, any programs that you have or would intend to have in coordinating with the Unit 4 schools?
Thank you. So we, of course, early on became partners with Unit 4 through the Summer Youth Employment Program, both funding it as well as participating in it. We have at-risk and at-need kids working in our township offices. They haven't this year, of course, because of COVID, but previously have worked in both the supervisor's and assessor's office. We'll continue those things. And we work very closely with Unit 4 through their school social workers to provide housing assistance as well as general case management for some of their families that are either housing insecure or needing certain available resources from the township. Lastly, one of my goals is to, of course, eliminate housing insecurity with Unit 4. We're doing that with the platform that we've put together for housing assistance, as well as the relationships we've built with Unit 4 staff, superintendent, of course, the elected officials, but also our other partner agencies in the community.
Okay, Mr. Kornstrom, could you describe how the office might work with other government and nonprofit agencies?
Absolutely. So COVID, of course, for all the bad it is, has provided some shining lights in that we have been able to work closely with multiple other levels of government. And I'll name them quickly: United Way, Regional Planning, City of Champaign, City of Urbana, Cunningham Township, as well as Public Health. We have all joined in the fight against COVID, and we've done that a lot of ways because of the relationships that we've built, the work that we've done together pre-COVID. And so I'm proud of the work we do with other agencies and nonprofits. And without that work, I don't believe that we would be able to accomplish the significant social service work that we're currently doing. And so I think that those relationships and the platforms we've built are key to the successes we've seen.
Okay, Ms. Foster, could you describe how your office might work with other government and nonprofit agencies?
Sure, I'd love to. That was one of the areas that I was most proud of when I was on council. I worked a lot with United Way. I worked with Family Service. I was on the Family Service Board, as well as Delivering Meals on Wheels and that organization. I've worked with several organizations in town, either through my volunteer activities or through my council activities. So I'm well aware in how those organizations work together, and being part of that in order to help our community stay safe, become safer would be a main goal of mine. Currently, I work at the Caring Place, which is Carle Hospital's employee daycare center. So working with the hospital's OSF and Carle would also be a priority of mine.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Foster, we'll start with you, this question. How would you see your office collaborating on goals with the Champaign City Council?
Oh, I think that the 8 years that I was on council, we tried to work together with the Township Supervisor's office in so many ways. And I remember I was so happy when this building was able to be purchased, because the old office did not have ADA accessibility except in the roughest of elevators trying to get up to the first floor. So finding a new building was paramount to the success of the Township Supervisor being able to help others. And so in that way, with the Prosperity Gardens, that was another area where we collaborated. And the new CU at Home, I think, is a wonderful program in collaboration to help those without addresses have some type of meaningful employment while they are looking for permanent housing. So I think that would be another way that working with the city council to help that, and also to find affordable housing in the city
Ms.
of
Foster, your
Champaign.
time's up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kornstrom, how do you see your office collaborating on goals with the Champaign City Council?
Well, as Mrs. Foster noted, we have collaborated well over the last 8 years, up to and including purchasing the new building. And I think the last year is a strong indicator of the relationship I have with the council members as well as city staff, and that we showed that they could trust us with some of their community development block grant money to be put towards housing assistance for those affected by COVID. And so we were sub-grantees of that grant to the tune of more or less $350,000 to $375,000. I don't remember the exact amount. And I think that speaks volumes. You know, those of us that are aware of city government know that that's a significant responsibility. And so the fact that they trusted us, they recognized the work that we've done because we've worked so closely with them, and they recognize the structure and comprehensive platform that we had in place for housing assistance. You know, their financial support with that block grant, I think, speaks volumes to the relationship we have with the council.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Kornstrom, how would you describe the source of funds for the township office, and are they adequate or more funds needed?
So the vast majority of our revenue, especially pre-COVID, comes from property tax levies. Probably 90% comes from property tax levies. The other 10% comes from personal property replacement tax. And then we do get, through our general assistance program, some reimbursement. So we may provide client X with $10,000 over his period of time with the township. We then get a reimbursement from the state of Illinois. Sometimes it's $10,000, sometimes it's less, but that is another form of income. And then most recently, of course, as I noted, we've received CDBG money, ESG money, as well as grants from the United Way, Public Health, and the state of Illinois. And so our revenue stream during COVID has been very robust. Post-COVID, we're not sure what that looks like. We'll continue to have our property tax and our personal property tax, but I think citizens demand significant services for their residents. And so we've done well over the last 8 years to not raise taxes and to work within our means. And we're going to try to continue that. And thank you. I see my stop sign.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Foster, could you describe the sources of revenue for the township office, and do you think that that revenue is adequate for the needs?
In my opinion, after working, many places, well, like Family Service, First Call for Help, and just in general, I think that the township office has done an awesome job this last year with the many ways that he has said that they have received monies from other sources besides property tax funds. But the needs are great. There are so many needs in our town that the money, $600 a month for 3 months, isn't nearly enough to cover all of the needs that people have. And that doesn't even really touch the surface of those who may be in need, but either are afraid to come and ask for assistance or are not able to get there to ask for assistance or lack computer skills to do it online. So I think that you have to work within your budget. There's just no doubt about it, but adding the grants and monies through United Way and other agencies has been so beneficial for
Ms.
this
Foster, your
pandemic.
time's up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Foster, if elected, what efforts would you want your office to prioritize?
I would definitely think that we would need to continue the work that has been started with the rental assistance, mortgage assistance with those who have been affected by the pandemic. The pandemic has been in our town with the restaurants, with the businesses, the small businesses that have lost revenues, have had to lay off employees. We need to get help to those people and then to keep everybody safe. So far, I think the positivity rate is under 2% right now, which means we're going in the right direction. But we need to, I don't know that we'll ever be able to get back to what normal was, but we need to be able to help those who are in need. And it's not going to go away just because the positivity rate goes down. We have to be prepared to help others in any ways that we can do that.
Thank you. Mr. Kornstrom, if elected, what efforts would you want your office to prioritize?
Thank you. So we would absolutely continue the work that we're doing. I think that we have found a niche with our See It Work program. Our comprehensive housing assistance has obviously shown its importance. And I would really, quite frankly, only add working with Unit 4 schools to eliminate housing insecurity. And at any given time, as you may be aware, 250 to 300 families are housing insecure at any time. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're sleeping on the streets, but it means that they're couch surfing. It means that they're staying with family or in a hotel. And that number is unfathomable. And we need to work towards eliminating that. And again, with the relationships we built, the platform that we have over the next few years, that's going to be my number one goal, in addition to continuing the programs that we have done so far.
Okay, thank you. And now it's time for closing statements. So you have 2 minutes for closing statements. And Ms. Foster, you start.
Okay, again, I want to thank the League of Women Voters, the NAACP, the News Gazette, and thank you to Mr. Kornstrom for participating with me in this candidate forum. I am a conservative, and I feel that my years of serving the public, serving children, serving families, serving those in need, have prepared me for doing this job. I feel that the years that I worked at Champaign County Nursing Home, working with the elderly with our innovative child daycare center where the children and the residents were together. I built that program. I've built another program. So I have a history of being able to build programs, to collaborate with others. And if I were elected Township Supervisor, I would definitely be on the forefront of those collaborations in our town. I still know many of the people who are involved, and I would welcome the chance to be able to help those in need as much as I can. So thank you very much, and I appreciate the support of anybody who is listening.
Okay, Mr. Kornstrom, your closing statement.
Thank you again, and thank you to you as hosts, and to Mrs. Foster. Thank you for the many kind words and all of your years of service. In 2013, you elected me as your City of Champaign Township Supervisor, and for the last 8 years, I've served honorably and with the goal of working to eliminate social related issues in our community. And we've been very successful, but we have a lot of work to do. And so my plan is to continue that good work that we've done so far, including our See You at Work program, Prosperity Gardens, our comprehensive housing assistance, our significantly increased general assistance from when I took office, as well as continue to operate a transparent government that our citizens can understand and appreciate. And so we have much work to do, and I look forward to those challenges. And I think that I'm best suited to ensure that the township continues to provide the services that our citizens demand. And I'm best suited to ensure that we tackle housing insecurity in Unit 4 schools. And so I would appreciate your support. And, I encourage all voters to vote on April 6th, enter early vote starting now. So thank you again.
Okay, thank you to our candidates, and thanks again to the League of Women Voters of Champaign County, the NAACP, and the News Gazette for sponsoring this forum. And a very special thanks to John von Behrens, who put this series together and has been our timekeeper tonight. Just a reminder, it's not too late to register to vote for the April 6th election. Information is available on the county clerk's website. Please vote by mail, vote early, or vote on April the 6th. Because turnout is expected to be light, please check your polling place for April 6th. And also for further information on the candidates, please visit votechampaign.org for nonpartisan information provided by the candidates and put on that site. This video will be attached to the candidates' information on visitchampaign.org and the League's YouTube page. So thank you and good night.